All right, Brandon Astle joins us now, the voice of the Abbotsford Canucks. Brandon, thanks so much for taking the time to do this. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, boys. The bus just pulled into Abbey Center from the airport, so this timing worked out pretty good.
We appreciate you taking the time. First things first, you were just on a plane with everyone, you were just on a bus with everyone. How are the vibes around this team right now? Again, coming off a loss, but how have they been throughout this playoff run as well?
It's been extremely high throughout the entire playoffs. You wouldn't know it if they won the night before or lost. And I was just on the bus, and the guys were talking about random things, the KHL, got buddies playing in Europe, all that type of stuff. So I didn't hear any chatter at all about the last night or anything about the series. They're just talking about everyday things, which is kind of fun to take in, being around the guys and stuff like that. So yeah, it seemed like a pretty loose and energetic group. Obviously, it's a pretty long travel day. And Charlotte's getting a taste of that too right now as they're pulling into Abbotsford within the last hour or so as well. And yeah, and I guess in about 25, 26 hours from now, whatever it is, this place will be packed and ready to go for game 3.
You have a closer relationship to this team than arguably any media in the Lower Mainland. So you've got a unique perspective on this. What do you think is special about this Abbey team that's allowed them to reach this point where they're tied 1-1 in the Calder Cup Final?
Well, first of all, like I kind of just talked about, they're a pretty tight knit group. They go out together. I see them on the road all the time, and there's a bunch of guys in the lobby going to dinners or trying to keep busy on an off day. So it seems like everyone gets included in everything. There isn't really any of those cliques that some teams have. So that's been awesome to see. And obviously, everybody's bought in from what the coaching staff has been preaching. Manny Malhotra has this group dialed in. Everybody is pulling on the same rope, if you will. It's nothing too crazy. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. They know the stage they're at is obviously the biggest that the AHL has to offer. And it's been a grind of a season. Like this team was below 500 on January 10th, and not a lot of people would have predicted that they'd be at this point here in the middle of June. But as the season went on in February and then in March, when they had that large win streak, you can kind of let your mind wander of what this team could really accomplish. But you still never know at the end of the day, just due to the AHL and the type of league it is. You'll never know who's on your roster on a day to day until your NHL affiliate is done, right? So it's just been a remarkable year, one that we're going to remember for a very long time, especially if they can raise the Calder Cup over their heads here in the next.
Last answer you gave, we were just kind of talking about it, and it kind of segues well into my next question, which is that like we've had a lot of Abbey players on the show, especially in the past month, and the one consistent thing that we hear from everyone, well, there's a lot of consistent things, but one thing that really stands out to me is how special of a coach Manny Malhotra is. What do you think he's done well as a coach that's really helped this group elevate their game to the next level?
Well, first of all, he connects with his players. Like he always just talks to them like a regular human being, not as a coach, right? He knows like all their partners' names, asks how they're doing, and pets and stuff like that. The same deal with Ryan Johnson as well, right? So they just have that ability to really know what these players are kind of going through. Manny obviously has a high level athlete in his family, and his son Caleb Malhotra, who is playing for the Chilliwack Chiefs just down the road and going to BU in a few years. So he can kind of connect with that younger generation. Obviously, they're always on their phones a whole lot, and so Manny kind of knows what to expect, being on the likes of, I don't know, the younger prospects, if you will, like Kudratsev, Lecker Mackey, those types of guys that are just a few years older than.
Oh, we lost Brandon again. Brandon, we're gonna need you to reconnect. I think he can hear us. Brandon, sorry, we keep losing you. But we'll have you back. We have you back now, I think.
Yeah, sorry, my dad called me the first time, which completely screwed me up there. So I turned off. I put it on airplane mode and took off the Wi-Fi. So now, hopefully, this is a better connection. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay. That's great that it was your dad calling. We had a question here, and we were just talking first when you were gone. We were talking about how great you are as a play-by-play guy. So you should know that we were talking about how great you were when you couldn't hear us talking. But I wanted to know where this overtime call of yours, "Let's get out of here." What's the origin of that?
Yeah, so obviously, with more eyeballs and ears listening in the playoffs, like I said something along the lines of that, like all the last few years. It was "Let's go home" instead of "Let's get out of here." And then one fan called me out just like on a random November after I did it. He's like, "Why are you saying let's go home?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And so I just kind of tweaked it, I guess, probably in the new year to let's get out of here. And it just kind of stuck. And there's some people that don't like it still, and there's most of the people that seem to like it. So I'm going to continue it going. And obviously, I would love to say it 3 more times. It doesn't have to be an overtime winner. As soon as that buzzer sounds, if Abbotsford wins, it just blurts out of my mouth almost like it's second nature. So not a real long history to it.
Love it.
How much fun is it to call games with Sammy Blais on the team? Just watching game 2, like he became public enemy number 1 in Charlotte. Every time he's touching the puck, he's getting booed. The dramatic instance where when he went off the ice because it looked like he was hurt and then came back on the ice, was pointing at the other team's bench. The hits, the goals, just how much fun is it to call games when Sammy Blais is on this Abbotsford team?
Yeah, I kind of mentioned in the last game. I almost feel like a WWE announcer. He's like playing the heel, and the crowd's booing it. And what they don't know is he loves it, so he wants the fans to keep doing it. And I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really familiar with his type of game before he came here. Obviously knew how he played, but like the stuff that we see right now of him like chirping players, going towards the other benches, even with the fans, like he'll gladly get into it with the fans, and that stuff kind of gets him going, and it's really funny to watch. And I guess it gets him engaged. And he's one of those guys that'll drag the team into the fight. He's a real emotional leader, and not just that. Obviously, he's got a great skill set. One of the top scorers in the playoffs right now, and leading this Calder Cup Finals in scoring, along with playing the heel. So he's one of those guys that you love to have on your team, but if you play him, you hate him. And so I'm really glad he's an Abbotsford Canuck, and just off the ice, so like you wouldn't even know it. He's such a nice guy, just humble, down to earth, very driven. And as soon as he straps on those skates, I guess he turns into a different person. And man, he searches for contact. Like he is looking to throw the body around. If you deliver the puck and you have your head down, you are going to be very sorry, because he is like a freight train coming after you. He's a big man looking to hurt some people out there legally, of course.
We haven't really broken down the games yet. Obviously, physicality is going to be something we talk about a lot when we do. But I wanted to ask you about this double OT face-off. Again, this was game 1. Excuse me. This was game 1. We have the clip as well. People who didn't watch the game probably saw this clip making the rounds. Now, we know this was a mistake from the linesman and from the officials, and it was rightly called back. But, like, what was your reaction as a broadcaster as you're watching that and just the events? Take me through how you were feeling and what you were seeing when you were there calling it.
Yeah, I was in disbelief, and initially I thought the game was over. Like you see the checker celebrate, and the Canucks kind of looking around, especially Shilov's like, what just happened? Like Artie wasn't even really facing the play yet. He was getting a drink of water and ready to put his mask back on. Next thing you know, like the checkers are celebrating. And so I wasn't quite sure what exactly the rule was. And as soon as you get like 15, 30 seconds to kind of take it all in and figure out what happened, and then you see the referees gather, and then I started to think like, okay, maybe they do call this back. And then at the end of the day, they did make the right call. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy at the end, and fans from both sides going back and forth saying, no, it should have counted. Canucks fans saying, no, that's not the rule. And Landon Ferraro, who's doing color with me, texted a former NHL official asking about the play, and he said, no, they definitely made the right call. It's called a false start. And it's the referee's job to make sure that everybody's ready before he drops the puck. And not just him, like there was the referee to the left of Shilov's, like he couldn't be any closer to him. He didn't even realize what was going on. And the trump card of it all was the official at the blue line still had his hand up. Like I screenshotted on my phone, he still had his hand up, and the puck was already in the back of the net. So if you watch the play back, from the regular broadcast angle, you could see like the linesman just say, oh, hold it. Like I saw everything here. And he kind of started that conversation with the rest of the officials saying like, my hand was still up. That puck should have been dropped. So there's a couple of people at fault. Obviously, Ty Mueller should have checked the Canucks center to make sure that everybody was set. The linesman should have made sure that Artie was ready and both teams were set. So at the end of the day, they did make the right call, and definitely kind of a probably a once in a lifetime experience, especially considering the stakes.
Broadly speaking, what have you seen in this Calder Cup final so far? It's been interesting. Artur Shilovs has been terrific, but they've had to lean a little bit too heavily on him, especially last game when they only generated 13 shots. What stands out to you about how the series has played out so far?
Yeah, so from a Canuck standpoint, just a lot of resiliency. Obviously, people want to look at the shot totals. Like Sheelows has faced 96 shots over 2 games. That's obviously a very high number that the Canucks would love to cut down on. But Charlotte, with that said, is a high volume shooting team. Like they've only been outshot 3 times in these entire playoffs. But give them credit. You got to have the puck to get those amount of shots on net, right? And so they're looking to test the goaltenders as much as possible, getting bodies in front of the net. The Canucks have blocked a ton of shots. With that said, and at the end of the day, the Canucks are coming back home, and they have home ice advantage in a 1-1 series. And if they play like they did in the third period of Game 2, where that was easily their best frame out of the 2 games there at Bojangles. Um, if they play like that, I like their chances coming back home here, especially with a different environment, better ice. Like, boys, that ice was terrible. That was unplayable at times. The puck was bouncing. It was so hot in that arena. I wanted to take my dress shirt off and just kind of wipe my face with it and drape it over my shoulders through those 2 games. So I'm back in Abbotsford Center right now, and it feels so nice with the air conditioning because there is over 8,600 people jammed into Bojangles on both nights, and it was over 30 degrees Celsius both games. And talking to players, they were not happy with the ice conditions. Obviously, both teams had to play through it. And I think when we see the puck drop tomorrow, you're going to see a lot more skill on display because you can actually carry it out of your zone and not have to worry about it jumping off your stick. So it's been an interesting series. Obviously, Charlotte has the advantage with the shots and all that. But at the end of the day, both teams have barely led. Like Abbotsford has led for just over 3.5 minutes through 2 games. Obviously, that's not good enough. But Charlotte has led for just over 15, so that's not that much more. It's been tied for a lot of these 2 games, and we'll see if what kind of adjustments are made when the series shifts to Abbotsford tomorrow.
Brandon, you're getting to cover a pretty special team. You're going to say Bojangles a lot. For you personally as a broadcaster, is this just the most fun you've had in your career?
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of joked that I was kind of like the Leafs, like any job that I had, any team I worked for, we never got out of the second round. So this is foreign territory for me and enjoying every minute of it. Obviously, just the fan support first and foremost. I can't say enough about how many people have not just been here at the games, but obviously there's a lot of folks that have tuned in from all over the globe, like people texting in, like they're watching from Brazil, Spain, people around the campfire yesterday, listening, watching the game like at some lake up north and all that. So it's just been amazing to call the action for fans all across not just North America, like I said, in Europe too. Canucks Nation is the real deal, and they've really rallied around this team. So just being a small part of this and seeing the atmosphere inside Abbotsford Center, when it gets going, it's nothing like I've ever experienced before. And being a diehard Canucks fan, there's nothing like what I've been able to do over this last couple months or so. It's just been kind of a dream season. Almost have to pinch myself, and sad that it's coming to an end in just over a week. But hopefully the team can hang a couple banners here when it's all said and done.
Do you think there's a chance that Jonathan Lecker-Mackey could draw back into the lineup for Game 3, especially with the series shifting to Abbotsford now, having last change, Manny Malhotra being able to dictate matchups a little bit more deliberately if he wants to, and especially coming off a game where it was difficult for Abbotsford in Game 2 to manufacture a lot of offense?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, Harman, with Manny getting the last change. Maybe that would put Jonathan in some more favorable spots. Obviously, he's a guy that can change a game with one flick of the wrist, and is obviously eager to get back in the lineup. There's just not a lot of time and space right now. Charlotte is a very aggressive team, but at the end of the day, he hasn't a chance to play them. Maybe he's been watching from above and knows where he can maybe exploit them a little bit. Who knows? He's a very talented, very smart kid. I think his vision is very underrated. And obviously, a guy like him, he doesn't really need a lot of time and space if he's got the puck on his stick and can let it rip. So, yeah, I'm curious what we'll see tomorrow and as the series goes along. I'm hopeful that we at least see him as the series does progress. If it's tomorrow, great. And I'm sure Manny would put him with some guys that he could have some success with, hopefully in the top 6, and obviously someone that could be a weapon on the power play. So Manny is someone who holds the players accountable. They can win a game and he'll still change the lineup. So it's anyone's guess what he and the coaching staff have cooking up right now. But it would not shock me at all if he does get in the lineup soon.
Brandon, thanks so much for doing this. Like we were saying when you were gone, you do such a great job with the Abbotsford Canucks, and we're excited to listen and watch the rest of this playoff round. Best of luck to the team and to you, of course, as well. Thanks so much for doing this.
Really appreciate the kind words, boys. And yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow. Thanks a lot for having me on.